What up, everybody? I want to say thank you for listening to this brand new episode of the No Rhyme or Reason podcast. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in to our show. But there's a small problem. We need you to subscribe on your device, whatever it may be, whether you're checking us out on YouTube, whether you're checking us out on Facebook, no matter where you hear this, subscribe or follow the podcast so you can be alerted as to when we create a new episode for you. We've even added a link down in the description for you where you can just by one click subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Just in case you miss it, you got something going on, you're busy, we ask you to subscribe to the No Rhyme or Reason podcast. Enjoy the show. Yo, you are now tuned in to the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, presented to you by On The Map Music Group, featuring Icarus Gray, and I'm your homeboy WordPlay T.JAY. We deliver to you a dope conversation where we talk about everything for no reason at all. Tune in every Monday to join in on the conversation. And without any further delay, this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast. And we're live.
Yeah. What's up, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay T.J.
And this
Nice. Safe.
is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. Wow. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another week of random conversation over everything. Yeah, so I'm feeling like I just kind of want to check in with you, right? And check in with me. Not really make it a heavy episode, not make it a heavy conversation, but like really just have fun, unwind, and see what's up. Because I mean, we do have conversations, but it's not like it's really personal at that point. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but it's not like they're all very light conversations. Most of them are pretty cerebral at the same time. So yeah.
We can do that. Well, I guess I can start, but I got a couple of anniversaries coming up, so that's big
Shit.
in the
I hate when I drop shit on the show
because
there's
it's
at
funny,
least
man.
one thing that I drop every episode, and if somebody is special enough to go back and listen to a bunch of episodes, I drop something every single time, and I was trying not to, and then it happened.
I think what would be even more amazing is if they went back, found every time you drop something, made that into a track of some sort, some
song.
sort, and then use all the times that I'm just making up songs.
Wow,
like that would be epic. We're gonna have somebody on that.
that takes some skill, but I mean, I guess it could be done, right?
Oh
It's
man,
mostly
listen,
acapella.
people are amazing. Also, if you hear rapid trigger clicking, that's just my wife playing Skyrim in the background. I'm sure you guys
that's
won't
fine.
hear it, but I can hear it. But no, I'm just messing with them. But yeah, so I got a couple anniversaries coming up, some good stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, we just passed our two year for doing this. Two
Don't mess it up, Joe.
Two for us. It feels longer because this is my life and I enjoy doing this podcast, and it's just become something that's grown to something major. But anyway, so I got that coming up. I got I'm gonna be off for about a week, so I get a vacation. I am going to spend that time with my lovely wife. I'm also going to spend some time making awesome
Right.
music.
See, that was a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah, making on some music. Like some people might have thought I was about to say like making on some kids. Like no. But no.
Making on some
Speaking of,
babies.
that's the other thing that's weird that I get a little sick of is the where's the babies in your
Yeah,
stomach? Like in your stomach, that's where the babies are. Like or
in your
from
imagination,
in
maybe.
your
For
imagination.
sure.
And if it's somebody that I really don't like, well, I'm just gonna be like, well, yeah, I mean, you probably swallowed your man's. Who knows? Wherever they are,
Dang.
they're not there.
Okay.
Anyway, point being, listen, I know I got a I came off the hip with that one.
That
Listen,
was that was a little rough.
listen, I came off the hip with that one because it's like I feel like people just give the worst advice in these situations because it's always like we just get married. So where's the kids? Not here. Can we have a marriage first? Like, can we enjoy one another? Can we enjoy
I think
just
people
not having
enjoy the
kids?
idea of babies, but realize that they don't have to pay for them, so they can be liberal. They can be liberal with suggesting them on people, right?
Oh my God. I think you just gave the key to it all is they ain't got to pay for it.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
ain't gotta pay for that baby. So that they will suggest babies all day, but the minute somebody suggests a baby to them, it's like dun dun dun, and then they're like, oh, I have to pay for that. And
nah,
it's not
they
just like one time payment, right? You can drop a lump sum and you're gone. It's not like
Ooh.
kind of yearly distributions or anything like that. No, that's daily expenses.
Also, they come off the hip with the nah, that's you. Y'all mad. Y'all know y'all doing it the right way. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm doing it the right way too. Want to spend time, but yeah, that's where I've been. We've been also like, in the transition of like kind of saving up funds, and this sounds so adult, but I mean, it's just adulting, just adulting 101. So we're attempting to save funds, get debts cleared, and get cars fixed, and
Trust me, your 50-year-old self will thank your 30-year-old self you actually adulted 20 years earlier versus starting at 50.
you know
Right?
what's funny about my 50-year-old self? He'll probably just be more of this now, only hopefully with like a lot more money to just do these things. So like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
kids will be semi close to getting out of the house, or if they're not already out of the house, and it'll be like, okay, you're out of my pockets for at least a couple years, unless, I mean, if we have the amount of girls that we are thinking we're gonna have eventually,
Oh my gosh,
then
and that's even worse. Right? So that's worse than the boys, cuz the boys you can give them like a cardboard box and like they're good for like 7 years. But the girls, that turns from daily payments to like minute payments, right? So every time a minute goes by, they're like, and right, and then you got the money, and it's gone, and
and
so
then, but here's where it gets tricky. Like if we have the same amount of girls that we want to have, right?
yeah,
So if I hope by this time that traditions have just been smashed, and everyone who wants to get married, they just pay for their own weds. Because if we get to the point to where I now have to go through what I went through, but for my daughters, and I got to pay for it, like I can't say no as is, and I
well,
can't even say no to my wife who annoys me on a constant basis. I can't say no to her. So how in the world am I gonna be able to say no to like these mini versions of me and her that have like followed me around
there is no
and
no. There
like
is
what?
no. Even when it's no, it's still yes because it's gonna come out your wallet eventually. So that's the thing is, the wedding or the college pictures, the high school pictures, right? The high school prom, all these things. If
Yeah.
it's a girl, you're gonna have to up the ante every time there's a major event. And it's gonna be like 7 layers of expenses. And and when you're dealing with all those expenses, you might as well just keep you a little jar for every single one of them, start putting change in them. Right? Evenly
Ooh.
distribute your change throughout those jars, and hopefully by the time you get to that point, you can go to Coinstar and cash it out.
Cash out. You know what's funny about that? It's like you have to do that as a father nowadays, especially nowadays. Like the more we know about our species in terms of men in general, the more it's like I need to show you everything in my power that this person has to crush. Like he has to be greater than the sum of my parts. Pause.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'm gonna do all that stuff. But yeah, so that's what we kind of going through now. Is really just settling, man. Like it's kind of and kind of building up foundations for stuff. So um I'm like building up all the ideas for the anime, the resurgence of my anime and manga stuff. You know, trying to get my wife's photography stuff off the ground. We're probably gonna start shooting some stuff together to kind of get some videos and stuff up. We play a lot of Call of Duty now. I'm a Call of Duty guy all of a
Do you
sudden.
feel relieved like something is complete? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like everything that we're going to get is not like, oh, I need this. It's more this was already preordained for us to have.
Yeah.
And like the one thing that we needed was, or one thing we felt we needed was each other. And so having each other allows us this pedestal and this launching point of just creativity because
Are
the
you setting
one
yourself up to get some tonight? I'm just
wow
trying to
really
I'm just trying to see, man.
I'm not setting myself up to get any tonight. No, I'm
Okay.
not setting myself to get any. This is not how I would do it. I would
Maybe
say
I'm setting you up. I'm the wingman by even mentioning it.
maybe you're being a wingman. No, listen. If I was, y'all, like, okay, I'm going. This is funny. So
This
I'm gonna
podcast
go.
probably be late, by the way. That's probably what's happening.
But no, we still gotta. Like I said, we're gonna play Call of Duty tonight. We've been playing Call of Duty like every night. I've fallen into her trap of, you know what? This is kind of fun.
Falling into a trap.
Yeah, I fell right into a trap. I'm just gonna let that sit there. But no, if I actually was, and it's funny, like I get into my poetics, and so then it's just like, so she'll say something like, you get on my nerves, or just something. Matter of fact, but just say something, baby. Like this can be an actual thing that they can hear and see. You can just say one of. Oh, now you don't have nothing to say. See,
No, because you ain't getting on my nerve right now.
Okay.
you know
I'll take
what?
that one.
She always says she can't stand me, and I'm like, why? Well, if you can't stand me, I'll carry you. Like I get real extra cheesy.
Yeah.
And she loves it because I'm cheesy. I am cheesy. So it's not like, but it sounds way more articulate and poetic than that. Like it's not just I'll carry you everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
you know how I am. Like
It's
I'm
in the
quick
delivery.
I'm quick on like picking up things. We're also I'm big into like I'm getting back into Pokemon a little bit because you and I have been playing a little bit more.
Mhm.
Like I feel like you and I both need to take the deep dive into, you know, training up our own teams. You're already halfway there, but I mean like taking that dive, like we shouldn't go too far because I think that's way too time consuming for what we have going on in life. But like, so if we say, hey, I want a Wigglytuff, then it's like, well, I want the best Wigglytuff there is, and we figure out the different ways you can properly raise the things up. Because if we're just fighting against each other, it doesn't matter if Wigglytuff or any of these Pokemon that we might choose are horrible Pokemon to use in other people's battles. Like,
Yeah.
between us, it leaves us that kind of freedom. So I kind of want to do that because I'm trying to get back into that. I realized that I have to have a Nintendo Switch. I played it and I just, good God, I love that thing.
They just announced Smash Brothers for it.
They announced Smash Brothers, South Park, The Stick of Truth, or The Fractured But Whole is also going to be on there. They have the new Kirby that I definitely want. Like, listen, y'all don't understand. Wife, retrieve me my child, please. Oh, y'all can't see this. Never mind. You don't have to retrieve my child. I forgot we were not not live. Yeah. But anyway, I have a Kirby.
We are live.
We're live.
We're not live.
And we're live. But I have a small Kirby plushie. And I love Kirby. Kirby is one of my, if not my favorite Nintendo character. Period. I don't know what it is. And so that's probably why I love Jigglypuff so much. Because Kirby, predated Jigglypuff. And so, yeah.
All right. So I sent you down the rabbit hole.
You did.
I didn't mean to do that.
You did send me down the rabbit hole. But yeah, I need the Nintendo Switch. So
well, I mean about this whole 16 minutes.
Oh yeah, give me your.
I have not talked about anything.
You haven't. Tell me about what's going on with you.
So I am moving out of my apartment. I don't have much stuff, but I do not have a place to go yet either. So it's sort of like in limbo, but I'm not really doing anything about it. Maybe that's because of how I've been kind of training my mind lately. So if anybody doesn't know, I've been practicing and meditating and really focused on law of attraction. And as a matter of fact, the new album that I'm dropping on March 23rd, it really is the culmination of all this sort of guru-like training that I've been having. You know what I mean?
The guru-like training was key to that. Because you're such a rapper that was still a double entendre for
right? You. Yeah.
Because you are a Gangstar fan. Right. So that was smooth. I like that.
really, I'm premier in my craft. So that's all I have to say. But I've been really focused on studying law of attraction. And one thing that it sort of instructs you to do is to, when you want something, to stop really like harping on it so much, and then get into a place where you can get inspired. You'll wind up doing something really random that has nothing to do with the objective that you have, but then the objective that you have will be fulfilled along with other desires, which is so odd to me, but it makes sense if you think about a time where you've ever lost something and you can't find it for anything, right? So whatever it may be. I think a few weeks ago, I was looking for something really important. I can't remember what it is, which is funny because I should be able to remember it. But if I let it go, I'll be able to remember it and understand how I found it. So that Inception. Oh, my mind hurts right now. Oh, it's okay.
Is it the Bluetooth cord? The Bluetooth charger cord?
No, it wasn't the Bluetooth charger cord. It was another device that I had, and my place is full of electronics, but it was another device that I was looking for, and when I was looking for it, for some reason, It was like right in plain sight, but I had no idea it was there. It was just kind of tucked, right underneath something, and I knew exactly where I had put it, but I looked in the same place over and over and over again, but it never showed up. And then I was just like, okay, forget it. I don't I don't care where it is. But my inner self, my spirit knew that I still wanted it, right? But once you ignore it, it kind of shows up. It's the same thing like when you get into a relationship and then all your exes come out of the blue,
Oh my
right?
God. Like, I need for that to stop. I need for the when you get with somebody, all your exes want to just pop up everywhere. Like Facebook, like somehow sends out a bad signal to your memories that let's post some pictures of when you was happy with this other
Yeah.
person. Like what?
Yeah. So
Why?
even when you're like, past that situation, things kind of rear their ugly head. Or when you're not in a relationship and you want to be with somebody and you can't find anybody, it's the same thing. It's
Right.
just you're attracting whatever energy that you're holding towards you, right? So if you're saying I can't find it, I can't find it, I can't find it, you're never gonna find it.
That's what's funny.
But
When
if you
you found
say,
it, I
yeah,
found it, and then it's like then you're finding all of these similar but not it things around you. It's
yeah,
just so
yeah,
because you
exactly, and it's the strangest thing I've ever experienced. And so with moving, I'm just like, okay, I know what kind of apartment I like. I like a 1 bedroom. I like to have plenty of space. I want it to be kind of nice, but I don't have any requirements past that. I just kind of want to be in a space that has enough room for me and my equipment, and I want it to be an environment where I can make and create stuff without having to struggle for it and still afford it, right? So
right. That's still something that hasn't happened here yet. Like we've been here, and I know that this is home, and I know that I drive home. I know the ways to get home, and it's not so much that it doesn't feel like home, but I don't know that the realization that this is home has kind of set in. Like it feels more like this is my station. Like this is kind of where we recharge, and
yeah,
we have nice things that
yeah,
we like,
yeah,
and it's ours together. But
yeah.
I just feel like an apparition in this place.
Well, it's because as soon as you got there, you started like setting out more intention to get something better, right? So it's not that you don't appreciate your place. It's just that you appreciate your place, but you know what you can have and you know your potential. So everything else is gonna work out on the way there. You just won't
Right.
know until the day comes that you're moving out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. So same thing like you. Like
it's
we
that
already
weird.
resonating with that. Like we might be here for at least one more year, but
Yeah.
that it in terms of being like here specifically because I have bigger, better things that we want to definitely do and get to in terms of like house. Like I remember when I used to think about like how you would drive around, we leave the south side, we go to somebody's new house, or you go around and somebody may be doing an open house or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you would be there, and it was just like you would just be excited because this room is bigger than mine, or this room is nicer than mine, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like I
I
remember
think we're
that being
always gonna feel like that.
well,
You
I
know what I
remember
mean?
that being okay until I saw my mom build a house. And for a creative, like, and I saw it at each stage of it being built. So, like, I just know in my head, like you said, that I'll just know when I know, and it'll be something that, um, Kanae and I have created together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's that thing, and it's really opened my eyes up to a lot of things. And it definitely resonates with my the current state of my music career, how I'm like bringing things my way by understand, like kind of getting out of the way of my own career. There, it's really counterintuitive to some of the raps that I've spoken, and some of the philosophies and some of the ideas that I've had in the past, which is all sort of work ethic. You know what I mean? And
Or
and it even shows up in the album in a lot of places where I'm talking about work, but this is early on in the recording process, so it's not when I've had my epiphany.
right.
But
Oh, we
like
talked about everything that you even don't give it all away because
I'm
we
not
are gonna
I'm
do
not
this.
I'm
But
not
you've even prophesized some things that are just like like how are you that far ahead? Because you've
it's
been
weird.
technically doing this album for about building it for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a couple years. The last album came out this about this time in 2016. So um the, the regardless of any of that, the intention was set that I would come in and I would work hard and I would work my fingers to the bone and see the reaction happen. And that is the opposite of what law of attraction actually teaches you. And that's also one of the biggest misconceptions. So a lot of people think that it's just people who humming and sitting on the couch praying for things to show up to them. That's not what it is. And if anybody's ever said that to you, or if you ever heard anybody say that, yo, that's not the case. It's not sitting on the couch and sort of waiting for things to show up to you. It's it's meditating, it's focusing your mind, it's getting out of the way of sort of negative thoughts. And then once you get out of the way of that, you should be able to hear something come from your gut feeling. Like in the Christian world, we call it the Holy Spirit. And in other faiths, they call it, their spirit as well. And so when you get out of the way, you be able to kind of hear these signals, and it'll clearly say, go do this, or I I want to go do this, or some lyrics will come into your head, or a painting idea will come into your head, or a business idea will come into your head, and it'll just be like instant. And you can't help yourself but to act on that idea, and that's the work. That's the work you should be putting in. And so the more often you're in that inspired place, which should be every day after you practice for a while, you'll just start doing stuff every day and you don't know why. But maybe a week later, maybe a day, the same day, maybe 3 weeks later, there's really no timer to when things will manifest. But I know that after I made this shift, I started seeing a lot of my songs hit thousands and thousands of plays versus hundreds on the
right.
streaming platforms.
And then you can even prime example. So, and this I think happens to most people. So say it's the day where you like clean your room.
Mm-hmm.
And you clean your room and you're trying to get your space together. And younger kids can, even young kids can kind of get into this. So you clean your room, and when you clean your room, and I mean really clean and not just straighten it up so your mom doesn't fuss at you. I'm talking about like a deep clean, like you cleaned every inch or whatever room it is that you're in.
Yeah.
You find an old game you used to play. You find an old notebook you used to write in. You find one of your toys that you thought you had lost, and then you're instantly inspired to something. Either you're reminded of, okay, this toy that I used to play with. You're reminded of a happiness that you had. You find this book. You're reminded, like, oh, I didn't finish this book that I wanted to write. And now you have a clean space and I don't have anything else to do. My time has now allotted itself to where this thing that I've now found I can do. So I can sit
Yeah.
down with this book or this thing. And that's kind of
Yeah.
essentially the thing. Like these things
Yeah.
come to you. Like you're not.
I call
when
it
you-
sweeping my floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for at least the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Is sweeping my floors. And you know, I would use the same metaphor when I talk to people. It's like, right now I'm sweeping my floors, and I can't sweep any other floors for anybody else. You know what I mean? And that's real. You know what I mean? It's I don't think at any point in time I'll be able to sweep anybody else's floor, really. You know what I mean? If we're all sweeping our own floors, I think this world would be a much better place, you know?
Right. Side note, my wife is like killing spiders in Skyrim. It's freaking me out a little bit. I hate spiders. Um, and the worst part about this side tangent is they have a VR version of this game now on PlayStation.
Oh,
And
yeah, just
let,
don't do it.
let
Yeah.
me tell you, no, I wouldn't be, but I'm just telling you, like, some ideas, like, keep it. Y'all can have it. Like I don't need it. I don't even want to do no. Oh God, there's a huge one. Anyway, I don't even
Yeah.
want to do any of these VR things. I think I've said this to you before. Like I'm overly scared that the Matrix is gonna happen in these VR games. Like I don't want the downloading my brain into a video game and then I'm stuck there. Like,
Well, that's kind of the not the fear that people had in the early 80s and 90s when video games popped up, but people were literally like getting sick when, like N64 came out and that type of stuff. You know what I
yeah, I
mean? When
remember
when
that,
the
'cause-
platform changed from just side profile to 3D,
Yeah.
people literally like throwing up and stuff.
Yeah, I remember
It's
that,
just another
'cause
shift. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be. And I said, I'll let people try those things out. But so all in all, would you say you're feeling good?
I'm feeling amazing. Like
All right.
there hasn't been a time that I felt more clear and more kind of negativity free in a sense. And it goes back to our conversation last week where we were talking about relationships, and
Yeah.
with that conversation, it's sort of like with this newfound
Week before last. Week
before last, with this newfound energy, it's more so like people that were once there are now kind of moving out, right? Because they're sort of bearers of long-term negativity, right? And I can't bear that cross anymore. And the only reason why a lot of these people were in my lives, these people were in my life, was because essentially I asked them to be, because I was holding on to the same type of energy, you know.
I got something that we can do that I think will be fun for the listeners. So, like we're saying, this episode is just us kind of just shooting the shit about what's going on, but it's not nothing extra philosophical like we normally are.
No.
Let's do fun facts. So, tell the listeners a fun fact about yourself that they do not know, and maybe I don't know. Just something
Well, you're
like
putting me on the spot.
I can go first because I can fun
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah, because you thought of this.
I can go first. So, fun fact. Now, you all, and it's a fun fact to me, but you all know that I am huge on anime and manga. But if I had to put a number on how much anime and manga I've watched or watched / read, I'm gonna go. I've watched over 10,000 or more episodes of anime, just period, and it continues to grow every week. With all the Dragon Ball Super and everything else I'm watching. Manga chapters. That's probably a little bit more or under. So I go probably about 5,000, 7,000 chapters of manga. And the only reason it's about 5,000, 7,000 because I'm not rereading all mangas. I only reread the ones that were like that I just stopped reading. That's 800 some odd chapters, which is countless pages, so on and so forth. So that would be, as me and T.J. were talking about, one of my levels of mastery, as I've spent like that much time since 2007 watching, reading, and doing this stuff. So it's like, so when I talk about it, that's why I get giddy, is because like it's literally been a part of my life for 10 years almost, or over 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
You got one, or you need me to give him another one?
I have no idea.
Okay, fun fact.
Like,
I have been to culinary school 2 different times. The first time I went to culinary school, I can only take, because I was working full time during the week, I can only take a baking class. Now, this was the first year of Pulaski Tech having a culinary school. Pulaski Tech is a school down here in Little Rock. And it was in their new South Campus building, which is off of the highway going towards Benton. They did not have an area for the culinary class. So I took this baking class, and we had there's a little restaurant that's attached, where kids can get lunch and stuff. And that's where we would cook. Now, this isn't a whole thing that's set up for a culinary class. This is like back of a restaurant where you're teaching a class. So I took baking 1 first semester. I took baking 2 the second semester. Got an A in both because, come on now. I'm chef boy JG. But then the second stint that I went back for was when they had finally built this huge building just for culinary stuff. So they had like classrooms where they would have like done lectures, which would have been kind of set up like a studio audience kind of thing with cameras and stuff like that. They had, interconnecting rooms, all the kind of stuff that you would love to see if you are into the culinary arts. And so the first semester I go, and I'm taking all these classes, so on and so forth. And they're giving out the numbers of like successful restaurants and all this other stuff. And it wasn't until then that I was like, I really just like cooking for the people around me. Like, I don't like cooking for a large group of people. And so the second semester, I made it about 3-4 weeks. We had a couple of snow days, and that like didn't help, because at this point I'm already like, ugh. And then it was just like peace. So that's a fun fact.
No. I just
nothing that's like quirky that you think the listeners would like. A fun fact of like, fun fact, T.J. likes ramen noodles way more than the average person. That's not true.
No, I just don't know. Like,
fun fact. Fun fact about T.J. God, I just lost it. That was crazy. I had a whole joke planned for it and everything. I was gonna run with something with you and T.JAY, but anyway, I thought that would be kind of cool. If you let's see if I can think of another one. Nobody talk about so much on
little do people know it may not seem like it. I just don't I don't enjoy talking about myself. It's not.
Oh no, that's a fun fact. A fun, non-fun fact.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's no.
Like, you know he is, I mean? Like, because he is incredibly, like, we talked about this before, like the things that T.J. has done in his lifetime and around now it's just incredibly crazy. Like, there are a lot of interesting tidbits, and like I said, fun fact about us, and we've told this story many times. We did not win the talent show in 9th grade, but we were still invited because of the talent we showed at said talent show to record a song. Like, and so it's always been a place to where anybody who meets us, whether it's Russell Simmons or Big Boy Me and You, and has always seen that there's
Havoc in the middle of East Village, and it's just some random encounter, and then he gets in an SUV and just rolls off.
And like, everybody knows that there's another level to the things that we're doing and that we're gonna do. So that is a 100% definite fun fact about you, is that you have always, even before you learned about law of attraction, been so closely in tune with it that these things just keep falling
Yeah,
around
I
you.
think that's one of the biggest takeaways recently, is because I sort of lost the connection, right? Because what I was doing is essentially listening to everybody else's um, sort of guidelines and and ways you should go about things, right? Everybody sort of wants to effort their way into getting some stuff out of the world, or making the world a better place, or doing all these other things. And now that I understand that, like, I never put in effort to do stuff when I was younger. That just wasn't my thing. I did whatever I enjoyed, and then the results came. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like that's sort of where I'm back to. That's why I feel like a kid again.
Now I can kind of see that as something that I kind of need to do, because I like kind of reject those feelings sometimes. But
What kind of feelings you mean?
so like if I kind of want to play something, like
Yeah.
sometimes I won't, because I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, and I have a specific thing that I'm like craving or looking for. So like sometimes I need something like Pokemon. Sometimes I need a show like Seinfeld. Sometimes I need Frasier. Sometimes I need um to read poetry that I wrote years ago, or something that my wife wrote. Sometimes I need to listen to your music or have a conversation with you. And sometimes I like kind of deny myself. It's like, he's busy. Like, I don't have time.
Well,
Or like,
that's the one thing now, is like I'm hardly ever busy anymore.
right, which is why, like, normally, like, oh, that's a fun fact. We have way more podcast episodes that we haven't recorded
Uh-huh.
than people probably know about. Because it would
Yeah.
seem like if we get on here and we talk for about an hour, or back when we used to be on here for like 2 hours, like just going about whatever,
Yeah.
uh, to now where I'm sorry, I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
the conversations, right? They usually last, one or 2 or 3 hours, and these conversations are essentially the same conversations that we have on the show. They're just a little bit more personal. They're sometimes a little bit more deep, and there we go, dropping shit again. Psychological sometimes, and it's
Like they
just
have to
it's
do
just
bananas.
personal. You know what I
Like,
mean?
yeah. Oh man, and it feels good, man. Like, it's just cool to kind of have conversations that aren't really like tied in like everything with all this stuff going on. And this should probably help you. Like, you'll play this game with your friends, because or with your family. Like, finding that like there's a lot of stuff that your family doesn't know about you. Like, you can think they know everything about you, and by large part they do know a lot, but you're not always with your family. In fact, you spend more times with your friends outside of your family than
Your
you kind of do with your
coworkers.
coworkers and stuff than you do with your family.
Dude, I
Um,
learned that the average person spends 17 years at work.
mhm.
This is the person that retires, right? 17 years. As soon as I heard that fact, it was like a YouTube video on some animated science thing. I think it's called ASAP Science. But as soon as he said that, I was like, fuck no. Nope. I want my 17 years back. For real. Like, there's no way in hell that I'm ever gonna subscribe to that. And I was
It's
like,
bananas.
as soon as he said that, like, every single intention in my body was like, all right, so let's never create this environment ever again.
Oh man, 17 years, that's bananas. Like,
That's a
that's the
long
fact.
time, dog.
That's a long time to be one place.
Right. So that's the agony we felt trying to get out of grade school.
Right. And that's not saying like that's not the total amount of years that you've been at the job. That's saying
Exactly.
17 years per hour, which means
Right. On an
you are
hourly
like
basis, yes.
that's your 8 hours a day. Do your calculators there
Right.
and just see
Right.
like you've probably been there 20 to 30, if not, longer
Longer,
in
yeah.
terms of that you've been there. And like it's like think about part-time folks. There's a lot of part-time folks that
Yeah.
hit this 17-year mark.
Yeah. So you could say the average career is like, 30 to 40 years. And in that 30, 40 years, you've spent nearly half of them working or, barely working, depending on the type of worker you are. But like that's just way too much time. And I never want to have that experience. Nah. No, dude. Like no.
You know what's
No.
funny? It's like how we stumble across like I think really good conversations even when we don't try to. Because even this conversation in general was just about enjoying just the moment. Or like where are you? Like where are you right now? Like if you sit with yourself and check with yourself as to where you are in your life or what you're enjoying, what you're doing, like what's going on around you, how far have you come? You gain an appreciation about things because I'm able to see, like you said, that like with the apartment thing. So the reason it doesn't feel like home or whatever is because I know that we're going to do more and I know that we're going to do better. Not that I'm not appreciative of where I'm at, like you said, but that's this general purpose of this conversation. Is for people to kind of just sit back, have a conversation. Like matter of fact, like call your mom, call your cousins or whoever, and like just how was your day? That does make people's day when people are actually interested, not like in the small talk way, but in like an actual like no. Like, how was your day? Like, remove all the bull crap, remove all the extra, and just tell somebody how you are.
Oh, fun fact. I lived by myself for like a year with no TV. All I had was
That
like
is a fun fact.
homework and music.
There was one more person involved in that, or two people.
What do you mean?
Jack and Coke.
Oh yeah. I wasn't drinking as much then, but yeah, you could say that.
Oh, that was my little tail end joke. Cause like, man,
Yeah, I
you
would still
and
go out. I'll still go
yeah,
out. But yeah,
that's a
like
good fun fact.
in that
Oh, another
time,
fun fact is
that
that
was when nothing less was created.
right. I was gonna say another fun fact is that you're a Nintendo guy,
Yeah, I
which
love
which I
Nintendo.
learned yesterday when I was talking about the Switch, and I was like, huh, like I should have known that, but it wasn't that cemented. But
Yeah, I have my own me and everything. So find me on Nintendo Network, Wordplay T.J.
interesting. You actually need to start doing that. How many street passes? That'll be a cool thing to do. How many street passes do you have?
I don't know. I haven't counted. I usually
Oh,
pass people in the mall and stuff like that.
do you play the little games in there?
No, not really. Because I'm when anytime I open it, I'm like playing a Pokemon game. So yeah,
Those little games are fun. Like that used to keep me busy at work, like to keep me like occupied mental wise. But anyway, that was a good fun fact. That was actually that was real cool. The like because he's normally basically what he's telling you people is when TJ goes simplistic, some high shit is coming.
well, Brian Bankhead often says whenever I'm out of a long time relationship, my best albums come out.
Oh,
So if
oh,
you pay attention
wow,
to my
yeah,
life
yeah, that's a
and
fact.
kind of narrow it down to what I was doing at that time, to every album, you if you know me personally, if you know me well enough, you'll be able to decipher something. But like,
I'm definitely the opposite. I do my best work when I'm in a relationship. And now
Because
that
you're
I'm
not
married,
focused on that part.
no.
Right.
Like, because while she and I were together, that's when fun fact, that's when I wrote that's how I wrote The Gift, my first little mixtape that I think I've told the story on. If I didn't, when I was in high school, I put together this whole mixtape by myself or whatever, didn't and sold it at the school, long story short. But the reason I started to do this and wanted to do this was because I had done a mixtape prior with some of my homeboys, and I was in the phase of like, shoot 'em up guns and things I wanted to talk about, right?
Pow, pow, pow.
Pow pow, pew pew, Caliber Squad. You know what I mean?
This is the club bank. No, I was kidding.
It's like, no, it's not. But the fun fact is that the reason I ended up being able to make this mixtape was because my sister and my now wife at the time, like, there was two things that came at me. They told me that
Wait, your sister and your wife.
yeah. Wait, hold on. Wait,
Not
two
your
separate
sister
people.
and your now wife.
Yeah.
Those words
I
are
get
too
what
close
yeah,
together, too
yeah.
fast. And so,
Yeah. And people already say we look like siblings anyway.
Not
so yeah,
your
I do
sister
need to correct
wife.
that. I have no sister wife.
That is gross.
But anyway, so that was a good one. So what happened was my sister didn't want me cussing in my music anymore, or she just posed the question of why did I? And I was like, I mean, because I feel like it, I guess. And she was like, well, you know how to use your words more eloquently. Why don't you try that? And I was like, good, whatever. And so I go from that, and then of course I'm in a conversation with my with my wife now, and she's all like, why do you cuss so much? My little brother is trying to look up to you. Which is funny because now you probably won't even listen to my music at all because you're listening to the Uzi Verts and the Savages of the 21.
The
But
savages of the 21.
I had
Wow.
to sound extra old for a second, like, even though I know it's 21 Savage, blah blah
The 32 Savage? Is that what they call them?
21.
21
but
sandwiches? What?
21 sandwiches, that's dope.
21
But
salads? No. I don't want,
that
whoever wants that much green?
I would if they're pre-made. But the point being, like, so she comes to me in this little conversation or whatever, and it was kind of like, you got people looking at you, man. And I was like, and I sat there for a second. And it was for the first time that I ever thought about people outside of my music, like the people I was attempting to touch. But then I was able to, as you and I have so often figured out with doing music, internalize it to me. Like, the reason they're asking this is not because there's something wrong with how I'm doing music, quote unquote. But the reason that they're asking is because there's something that's inherently not me in this. And because they know me, they can sense that. And when I finally realized that, yo, that's not you, that was the kind of like turning point. So that was like the fun fact, a fun fact to me, because that was the real reason that I was able to look back at myself and say, yo, you kind of not being you.
21
like,
salmons? What?
21.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a similar experience with, not with cursing necessarily. Well, with cursing, but it wasn't that conversation, right? Because for a long time, I didn't curse. And even now there's like 5 songs on the album that I had to clean up. And that's just like 1 or 2 words. So it's not even that serious.
I mean, it's like a damn, or maybe like a shit.
Well, there's shit and fuck and nigga. And my brother came in and said fuck once, or he said fuh, but I still had to bleep it. But regardless, like, when I was creating music early on, because I'm the choir boy, right? The reason why I have so many crazy vocals stacked in my music and all this other stuff is because I stayed in the choir, church choir, school choir. We were in choir together in elementary school. Middle school,
We
I was still in
were.
choir. Middle school, I performed. High school, I performed. I wanted to be. I got accepted for our high school chorus, senior chorus, the madrigals, and then the old choir teacher came back and then kicked me out. So
That's a fun fact.
yeah,
Also,
so
a fun fact. I
I was
forgot all about
demoted.
that.
I was demoted, and so I was just in the regular choir at that point. But regardless, like my use of vocals came from being in the choir, and because I got most of my talent from and practice from being in church, I didn't curse in my rhymes because I wanted my grandpa to hear it. I wanted my grandma to be able to listen. All these other things. But after a while, I realized that wasn't the true me, because I still needed to express some things with certain words that the words needed the impact of the curse word. So it wasn't that I was cursing anybody out, because it's still not negative. It just needed that specific word to fit the energy, right,
Same.
of the thing.
Same. Like I needed to, because as opposed to like, and I don't begrudge anybody who does that, who uses more curse words than what we do. But the difference being is when I'm using it, you're gonna know that it's for a purpose versus this is just how I talk. Like you're going to follow a trail of, well, I never heard him say fraggle knackle. I don't know what that is. Just start using it. Fraggle.
I'll meet you in the Fraggle Church.
I'll meet you in the Fraggle Church. I like it. It does sound like something that Snoop Dogg would say, the Fraggle with a little sizzle dizzle. You fizzle my fizzle. My dizzle, my nizzle.
Oh my gosh.
With a little E40. Ew. In a Fraggle. Ew. But anyway, it gives more impact to it or whatever, and that's just something that I think that was a cool fun fact. I did not know that. Like I did not know about the magicals and stuff. Like I knew that there was a whole nother life, that you were living out here. Because T.J. listen, man, he is a world traveler.
I do a lot of stuff. That's the one thing that I didn't realize looking back on my life, is that I just get into so much stuff that I don't even keep track of it. You know what I mean? I'm always just kind of following my gut feeling, and so it just leads me to random things.
I got one more fun fact that's funny. My wife will laugh at this because this will close us out. The only time I ever won a trophy in drama is when my wife wasn't around. She missed one tournament and I was able to beat everybody and got my little first place trophy. I was hyped.
So she took all you.
She took no. Let me no. Check this out. Let me explain.
Or she handed out all your L's.
She handed all the L's. So I get this first place trophy. This first place trophy allows me to go to states. So I get to go to state now. And now I'm in the room. And this is a great international.
So wait, you still argue with her now though?
About that? No. Oh no. Oh, what do you mean? Because I'm destined to take these L's.
Right.
Like there's no point.
That's just.
Oh no.
That's in the sands.
Because I won the greatest argument, which was we should have always been together. But boom, bam. But check. So funny story. So we're sitting there. We're in finals. The finals is all Central people, and it's all girls, and me. And of course, they kicked
all black girls.
All black girls.
Yeah.
All black girls. Yeah.
Yeah. Try to argue with a bunch of black girls. Like that's why they take drama. I mean, not drama, but debate. Not drama.
Oh no,
Freudian slip.
But me and Kane learned real quick. Drama or debate was not what we wanted to do. It was like, nah, I'm out. Like, I'm out, son. I'm sorry, Miss Holiday. I'm out.
Oh, it was drama. It was drama. So I was right.
Yeah. Well,
not
for
debate.
debate. Well, no, we took debate in 10th grade and realized real quick this ain't it.
Okay.
But what I won first place in was, was poetry or whatever. Which, if anybody knows us, we've been competing with the pen for a long time. And she'll tell you, listen, I'm telling y'all this story because if y'all ever meet us, she will lie and tell you that I'm great and you're better than me. She'll say stuff like that. Nah, my pen is not as gifted as hers, just to clarify. And again, I'm not trying to get sex. Knowledge is for understanding and not to prove others wrong. This has been the No Rhyme or Reason podcast with your boy Icarus Gray.
And your homeboy Wordplay T.J.
How are you guys doing? We'll see you next week. Or crap. Oh, I messed it up. Do it, T.J. I messed it up.
We'll see you week after
there
week
it is.
Without skipping a beat. Peace.
No Rhyme or Reason is an On the Map music group production.